most good afternoon, Toastmasters. Please say something.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Henry and Mary were husband and wife for the past 45 years. It was the eve of Thanksgiving Day and apparently nobody was home. Henry picked up the phone and spoke to his son who was in Switzerland and told him, "I'm sick of staying with your mother for the past 45 years. We had a bitter fight today morning. I'm not going to stay with her anymore. I'm going to leave her." Immediately the son says, "Dad, hold on, do not do this, I'm going to come." Henry slams the phone down, calls his daughter who's in Scotland and says the same thing. "I've been with your mother for the past 45 years. I'm sick. We had a very bitter fight today morning. I am not going to stay with her." And he slams the phone down. Mary comes on, picks up the phone and talks to her other son and tells, "I had a bit of fight with your father today morning. I just cannot live with this man anymore and I am leaving him." And this son says, hold on, mom, I'm going to come back." Mary keeps the phone down, looks to her husband and smiles. It's working. All her children are coming for Thanksgiving Day. And what do we do for Christmas? Toastmasters, welcome to the art of persuasion. A simple story, yet told profoundly. Let me tell you how I was persuaded to join Toastmasters. I live in a joint family along with my brother, where the rooms of our doors faced opposite each other. One day I walk into my house and I hear a loud voice emitting from the room of my brother. Now my brother is married and I think he's having an argument with his wife and I want to rescue this man. So I open the door and I go inside and I see him reading from a piece of paper. And I ask my brother, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm reading from a piece of paper. I have joined this group called Toastmasters and I'm rehearsing a speech." Then he asks me this pertinent question, "Do you want to join Toastmasters?" And I tell him, if one person in the house can speak, that's enough. Leave me alone. And as I say this, I have one request. You have been screaming, my brother. I have to sleep. Please cut down your voice. This brother of mine promises me I go to my room and he screams and speaks the whole night and I can't sleep. I put earbuds and I go to sleep. And if you thought this was done, this brother of mine repeats this act every day. Every time I open the door and I tell him, "Why don't you just stop screaming?" He tells, "Why don't you join Toastmasters?" I'm sick of this guy. It boils down to a point where one day I hear physical noises coming to the room and I open the door and there's my brother standing there and doing this. Woo! And I ask him, "Brother, what are you doing?" He says, "Body language." I decide to vacate the house. I can't take this noise anymore. I go and ask my brother, "What is it that I should do to make you stop speaking?" He slowly tells me, we have started a club, we're short of members. Why don't you enroll? I asked him, "What's the fee?" He tells me the fee is $3,500. I tell him, "I'll cut that check for $3,100. I am not coming to Toastmasters, but on only one condition, to stop speaking at home." This brother of mine agrees. I cut a check and there's peace in the house. One Saturday, as I walk into the home at around 6 o'clock, I see my brother smartly dressed, wearing a tie and going out, and I make the mistake of asking him, "Where are you going?" And this brother of mine tells, "Toastmasters." I tell him, "Boss, you carry on, please leave me alone." Now my brother tells me something that gets me interested. He tells, "Anyway, you pay the fees. Why don't you come and take a look at what Toastmasters are all about? Stay for 10 minutes. You like it, you stay. You don't like it, you leave." It sounded a bit convincing. So I decide to go to this meeting called Toastmasters. The problem is, Saturday is the time I take my wife out for dinner. If I don't take her out for dinner, I am dinner. So I go tell my wife, "Look, honey, we have to go for this meeting for the Toastmasters. Let's go for 10 minutes, then we can leave." My wife says 10 minutes, 10 minutes. I says, "Bhagwan, 10 minutes is 10 minutes." We agree and we land a place. It's typical to a hall like this, where 30 people are seated and the front row is empty. I hate to sit in the front row because I'm so scared somebody will ask me a question. If somebody asks me a question, asks me to speak, I'll die. Anyway, with no other option, I slink myself into the front seat and sit down there. I say a trainer will come and tell us about Toastmasters and what happens there. A man walks into the room, he's around 5.5 feet tall, the guy is bearded, he's not tucked his shirt, he's wearing chappals, and I'm not impressed. I tell myself, how can someone who's a trainer not even neatly dressed, how can he train me? I decide, the moment someone claps, I'll vacate his place. And this man's name is Rajan Parlekar. He comes and stands on stage and starts speaking. He speaks with such finesse, he speaks with such sincerity, I'm mesmerized. I put my hands on my cheek and start listening to this man. And when the session is over, I look at my watch, 2 hours have passed. And my wife is still sitting next to me. And Rajan tells me something which I remember for the rest of my life. If I can speak this well, so can all of you sitting in this room. I go on to believe the story of Rajan Parlekar, and I joined Toastmasters. It's a solid 14 years now, and I stand before you as a speaker. You like my story? That's how I was persuaded to join Toastmasters. And okay, quickly we'll go on to, I will not dwell into the theory part of what persuasion is. I'll just tell you, to me, persuasion is a choice. And there's a very thin line between persuasion and inspiration. Many have been asking me, so what's the difference between persuasion and inspiration? There's a difference. Inspiration is a cause. Persuasion is a choice. When Steve Jobs came on stage, when he introduced the Macintosh and the iPad, he presented innovation not as a choice, as a cause. He said, if we do not innovate, we're going to perish. People believed him, and today Apple is where it is because he made innovation as a persuasion. Okay, to be a good persuader, these are something I call a reinforcers. And let me connect this with a small little story. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was a very famous saint. You must be aware of this. A lady takes her son and goes to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and tells, Guruji, my son eats jaggery every day and I am unable to make him stop this habit. Since you are someone who is knowledgeable, who has a reputation, I want you to ask him to stop eating jaggery. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa looks at the lady and says, bring this boy after 1 month. After 1 month, the lady brings the boy, her son, to the Guruji, and the Guruji says, bring this boy after 1 month. The 3rd month, she brings her son, and the Guruji says, bring this boy after 1 month. At the 4th month, the Guruji says, son, stop eating jaggery. This lady is irked. She's very angry. Guruji, you could have told this on the first day of breaking. Why did you make him come for 4 months in a row? And that's when Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, I too like jaggery. And I have been having the habit of eating jaggery for a long time. If I have to tell this boy to stop eating jaggery, I have to stop eating jaggery first. I am knowledgeable. I have a reputation. But I have to be sincere in what I do before I deliver. So if you have to be a persuader, you have to be knowledgeable. You need to have a reputation, you need to be sincere, and you have to deliver. Let me dwell a little more into this topic. When you think of the word knowledgeable, which person's name comes to your mind? Any names? Abdul Kalam. Vivekananda. Super. Karl Marx. Amazing. Mahatma Gandhi. Nobody's telling my wife. Okay, when you think of reputation, which company comes to your mind? Name of company.
Google.
Apple. Google. IBM. Guys tell IBM. Jobs on the line. Okay, let me rephrase it a little more now. I'll give you an option of 2 companies. Tata's versus Kingfisher. If you had a choice, which company would you join?
Tata.
Why?
Because it's an Indian company. Kingfisher is sinking already.
Because Tata is an Indian company. Kingfisher is an Indian company.
Tata has values.
Tata has values, Tata has reputation. Okay. Now, when you think of sincerity, think Think of a name of a person which comes to your mind.
Soldier. Soldier. Soldier.
Who fights on the
Okay, fine. Any other names?
Narendra Modi.
Narendra Modi. We have to wait for a few years.
Mother.
Gandhi, yes. Who said something?
Mother.
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 When you think of sincerity, probably the universal, globally, the first person that could come to your mind is mother, a parent, Mother Teresa. Sincerity, the name sincere reeks of this person called a mother. When you are interacting with a person, when you are going to pursue with a person, when you have a talk with a person, do you have the sincerity that your mother has? Persuasion becomes easy. Okay, let me come to delivery. I'm a builder by profession, and I'm in the line of construction for the past 20 years. I do apartments and civil projects. If someone of you want to buy an apartment and you came to me for advice, which name will I ask you to buy an apartment? Probably I'll tell you buy Shobha Brothers. I will go to Brigade, buy Prestige. Because why do I tell this name? They deliver on time. They promise what they do and they do what they promise. As to a persuader, these are the basic facets that you should have. You should be knowledgeable. Difficult to have a reputation, build it up. Sincerity and delivery, do what you tell, do what you do. Am I clear? There's a process of persuasion. It's called the need, the attention, the visualization, satisfaction, and action. When I joined the Toastmasters, I and my brother sat back after a few years at one of those get-togethers, and I told my brother, hey brother, thank you for persuading me to join Toastmasters. If you had not persuaded me, I wouldn't have joined. And this brother of mine made this pertinent statement. He said, I played the role of a catalyst. I persuaded you to join Toastmasters. You stayed back because there was a need for you to become better. Whatever I persuade anyone to do, we will join an organization, join a group, get into a relationship, but we stay there if you find a need. And if you are going to persuade somebody, do not try too hard. Find out the need of this person. It can be in a transaction, it can be in a relationship, it can be in a business venture. If you know the need of this person and if you address that need, persuasion becomes extremely easy. Okay, attention. For attention, let me do a small exercise and have 3 volunteers, please. 3 volunteers. Anybody? I promise I'm not going to harm you. Manjula, right? Manju. Okay. The others, you plan to do cooking? Thank you. Deepak. Krishnan, Manju, Deepak, ladies and gentlemen, an applause to them. What I'll tell you is tell you a few lines of a stanza, probably around 5 lines, and all you have to do is repeat it. But what I'm going to do, I'm asking Mr. Krishnan to stay here. Both of you will have to leave the room. When I call you, come back. You go for lunch. I'll tell you a few lines. Listen to me intently and repeat it totally after I finish that. Is this fine with you? Okay. Today at 10 o'clock there will be a total eclipse of the sun. I'll finish now. This is when the sun goes behind the moon for 2 minutes. That is something that cannot be seen every day. Employees are asked to assemble at the parking lot where the CEO will deliver a short speech. As it is not safe to view the same with naked eyes, safety goggles will be provided at a moderate cost. Krishnan thinks my wife is better.
I never thought, capturing words. Today, today morning,
It's pretty alright.
yeah, I know.
Give an applause, come on.
You can make your own sentence.
Yeah, I think not only I could make up. So today morning, we're going to see something natural, but natural, and all the employees are requested to come to the parking lot. And we have a very short speech from our CEO, and we would be able to see this eclipse wherein you have the sun going behind the moon for a few seconds, and this cannot be seen naked eye. So we're going to will provide some goggles at a very affordable cost. I request all of you to assemble in the parking lot, say 5 minutes before time of that.
I wrote 4 lines, you wrote 14 lines.
Yeah. I can only take the
Can I have 1% coming? How do Manju? Manju, Krishnan has a story to tell. All you have to do is listen once and you'll repeat.
So Manju, today we have a natural, we have a very natural thing to see. In our organization, we have announced that everybody from our office needs to gather in the parking lot, where we have a lunar eclipse, wherein the sun goes behind the moon for a very particular point of time. So we asked all the employees to meet in the parking lot, and because we cannot see this through our naked eye, but the organization is we're going to provide some classes for all the employees at an affordable cost. This is one of the times that all the employees are requested to be there for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Krishnan.
Thank you.
Guys, today there is an event. Lunar eclipse is going to happen. In the evening, I request all the employees to be present in the parking lot, and the organization is providing glasses, since we should not see it in the naked eyes, it will affect our eyes. So they'll be providing glasses with an affordable cost. I request you all to be present in the parking lot before 15 minutes of the event.
She's going to tell you a small lullaby. It's a story. You have to repeat it. This is once.
What was
Only once.
Because there is lunar eclipse is going to happen today evening, and I request all the members around me to be present in the parking lot before 15 minutes, and we should not see anyone with naked eyes. So the organization is providing glasses at an affordable cost. I request you all to present in the parking lot.
How does it look?
deeper? They're the same story.
Depends what you heard.
As per her, she told me that lunar eclipse is going to happen, and just for that, I have to call some members to the parking lot, and the company will provide some instruments so that we can say it. Thank you.
Thank you. If you listen to what happened in the process, I never used the word lunar. Yes. Lunar came in. And I did this in some other place. I said park, someone said Kavan Park. The point is, it's pretty okay. People who pay attention to what's being said, told, in transcription, in a conversation, people who listen to what is being said and also pay attention are the one for good persuaders. And attention doesn't stop only at listening skills. Attention also comes in the way that you make your presence into the state of the audience. The way you dress, the dominion, the quantum that you exhibit, the smile you have in your face, and the walk, the gait, everything counts and takes attention. Persuasion is also body language. Small little acts are noticed by people who are leaders. Small little amounts of sincerity. Small little attention that you pay to what they say. Somewhere the slip in a word which you can catch on a negotiation. Very important thing to have to pay attention to get into persuasion. Visualization, I'll show you a video, hold on. video of Mahatma Gandhi, what sort of visualization came to your mind? Was he persuasive as a speaker? Was he? He was not persuasive speaker. Okay. And what visuals run into your mind? He was looking at the unknown. Here was, this video was basically done in South Africa. This was the movie Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah.
And he speaks about a new law which is being brought. He tells them about the possibility of what will happen if they take the law. Now, Gandhi presented freedom as a cause and not a choice. The choice he presented was the British saying that you stay back, suffer. The choice that you have. The cause he gave to the Indians was freedom is something that you really need to have. You have no other choice. Very, very visual. And once it's done, this video was a true script of what he spoke. And it transcended many of minds. Overnight, he became a speaker who would be known. Visualization is when you are in the process of persuading somebody, can you visualize his cause? What is his choice? And how can you put across to him? Can you persuade him in his eyes to see what I need to see? Is persuasion. When we're coming to satisfaction, I'll ask you a very simple question. What satisfies you in life? Small, everything, general, specific. Look out of the gambit of IBM now. Think differently. So what satisfies you?
So whatever requires my requirement satisfy, fulfills the requirement.
Okay, what is the requirement?
Then it depends both short term and long term.
Short term. No, I'm just getting you. Short term, what's the requirement?
So I mean it's day to day.
Day to day, what's the requirement? What's the requirement for today?
Today I need to finish my work and complete for today's deliver.
Okay, he has to deliver for the work of today. Okay, you, what's your name, young lady? Gayatri, you go to a mall today. Okay, and what satisfies you in the mall? Apart from window shop?
Jewelry.
You're married? The poor man.
But she can buy her own.
You can buy your own specific.
He's a
Now,
poor man, that's what I'm telling you.
he's a poor man anyway.
That's why I want.
To buy your own. Specific is, I'm hungry, I need to have water. Specific. I go home, play with my children, I feel happy. Specific. I go to a mall, I buy a blue shirt, which I need. Specific. Persuasion is not generalizing. Persuasion is being specific about the need of the audience, about the need of the person that you want to talk to, and how you take it forward. Specific. Action, well, you have to get them into action. And normally getting into action normally comes with the power of speech that you give, or the knowledge that you possess, the reputation that you have, the delivery that you make. All this comes by the way that you do a presentation. And reminded of Demosthenes, the father of public speaking. He was actually, Demosthenes was a Greek orator and statesman. His job was to come and speak to people and make sure they are galvanized into action. At one point of time, he had addressed an audience of a few hundred people, and there were no mics those days. And this man was absolutely nervous to come and speak. He came here, looked at the audience, and was very perturbed. He started speaking. Once he finished speaking, instead of people getting galvanized into action, they threw stones at him. So disturbed was he that he swore that he'll never come back and speak until he became a proper speaker. He went to the shores of the sea, put pebbles in his mouth, and started speaking so that he'd pick up on his diction. He spoke so loudly that he would speak louder than the waves that would beat the rocks there. He practiced for months and months together, and after a few months he came back and addressed the same audience. So powerful was his speech that people were moved into action that they went to war. In fact, they said Alexander the Great could not enter the Greece until Demosthenes was there. Because every time this man would give a speech, people would galvanize into action. Until he was killed, Alexander the Great could not become the powerful that he was. The power of action. power of persuasion plus Toastmasters. Okay, let me go on to the next slide. I have used the terminology on audience journey. When you are persuading people, the three aspects that you need to see: one is inspire, the second is convince, the third is get in action. Inspire. How many of you know of Sylvester Stallone? I see a smiling, really face. Stallone today is one of probably the most profound actors of all time. Very successful, extremely hardworking. But when he was born, due to the delivery that he had, he was born with an impediment in his voice. He had a speaking issue, and his face even now was slightly conquered. He speaks with a little, what do you call it, dry face. He wanted to become an actor, and he kept on trying for many years. At one point of time, he sold the stuff in his house, and his wife threw him out of the house. And the one thing that he loved dearly was his dog. And
every day my father would work to try to make ends meet, to see that we would eat, keep those shoes upon my feet. Every night my papa would take me to
You'll be wondering how I've been persuaded to stay a Toastmaster for the last 14 years. Little nuggets of people keep on coming into my life, and every time they come, they leave a mark and make me stay. A few years ago, I had done enough at Toastmasters. I finished my speeches. I'd come up to a leadership stage to a level where I didn't want to take any more of leadership. And other forms of activities were dragging me, and I sort of decided to leave Toastmasters. In fact, I decided I will not pay the next term fees, and I not going to leave the club. At this point of time, I was a mentor for a college called the Mahavir Jain College, which is in Bangalore. The coordinator called me and said, a few people need the speech evaluator, can you come and help? I said, let me do this last job before I leave. So this girl, one girl calls me, and he tells me there are 5 speeches to be evaluated. I said, 5 speeches, I can't remember. Evaluate 5 speeches. She said, sir, please, we are doing a project 9 and 10, we have to complete. Come and evaluate. I agree. I go there and I see the other evaluator is not turned, and I had evaluated 8 speeches. I definitely did not like what I was doing. But students being students pleaded with me and I agreed. Then something very funny unfolded. People came up on stage and spoke. And when they spoke, they read out from the scripts. Some of them forgot a few lines. But as I went back, they started giving high fives to each other in the assumption that they all gone through. When I came on stage as an evaluator, I asked all the 8 people to repeat the speeches. But I told them something very important. I don't have the right to fail you. But if I pass you now, I'm going to fail you for life. I told them, if you still want my signature, please bring your manuals. Not one student came forward. And as I left, nobody clapped. It was apparent that they hated me that day. But I did something which I'm so happy about. As I went, I took the chalk piece and wrote my name and my phone number and email ID. And I told them, I promise one thing, that if you want to get a speech mentor, come to me and I'll help you do it. A week passed, one girl came to have a speech mentor, and soon all the 8 came to have a speech mentor. And I made a promise to them that whenever you speak and wherever you speak, I'll come and hear your speeches. They spoke at 4 different venues on 4 different dates, and I went and heard all the speeches. And all 8 of them came out with flying colors. Word soon spread that I was a good mentor. Word soon spread that they can be successful. And believe me that year, we had 11 CCs. And by the end of the term, Mahavir Jain College ended up with 55 CCs. I probably mentored 100 of the speeches. The home literally became a breeding ground of speaking. And in these people who I mentored, it's almost been 5 or 6 years. Many of you keep in touch with me. They Skype me sometimes right from Facebook. Some of them are in New York, some of them in Delhi. One of them is a lieutenant in Assam. She works for the army. And on Teachers' Day, they all wrote to me saying that, sir, you're such a nice guy, you're a friend. I don't like to call you a teacher, but it's so easy going. But only have teachers. And if I stay back at Toastmasters for so many years, it's because of the nuggets of little people who keep on telling you are a persuader. Stay back in Toastmasters, be persuaded, do the things that you must, but find that need.